Hi class. I would like to just do a quick lesson on reviewing fractions times multiplying a whole number. And um, when we multiply a fraction by a number, we can always replace the word times with another word. And I know if we were in class and I would ask you, we would all shout out the word of. That's right. So fractions of a whole number or times a whole number. So let's start with 3/4 times 20, or 3/4 of 20. And one of the first ways we learned how to do this was taking 3/4 and calling it and using 1/4, multiplying 1/4 by 20, and then scaling up to the 3. So to do that, we simply divide our whole number by 4, our denominator, to get the answer of 1/4, which is 5, and then we scale up by our numerator. We multiply that by 3 to get 15. Now, another way we looked at that was we did a visual model where we took, let's say it's 20 students, and I want 3/4 of the students to come outside with me. So we would break up the students, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4, and 5. So we made an array of 20 kids, and I have 4 different groups going across. Now, 1/4 of that group would be the 5, and that's where we get the 20 divided by 4. That's the 5 kids. Now, if I take the extra, all 3 groups of 4, then I would, look at that, it looks like a nice cake. Then that gives me the 5 times the 3, that gives me the 15 kids there. So the 3 groups, this gives me the 15. This other group down here does not count because it's not part of the 3/4. That would be the 4/4, and that would be the whole group. Now, so when we look at this strategy here, this is a formula, dividing our whole number by our denominator, then multiplying our numerator. So our formula is our whole number divided by the denominator times the numerator. And that will work every time. Now, another strategy we can do, that's our first strategy. The second one we talked briefly about was making our whole number into a fraction. You can, every whole number, if you put the 1 underneath it, it becomes a fraction. And then you multiply, whoops, can we see that? And then we multiply, there we go. Come on. Then we multiply so making the whole number into a fraction. So 3/4 times 20 wholes is 3/4 times 20 over 1. And we multiply the numerators together and the denominators together, and then simplify. So 3 times 20 is 60. 4 times 1 is 4. Simplify it as 60 divided by 4, and I'm going to tell you it's 15. And we can also use the trading places strategy, which is very similar. We make the whole number into a fraction again, but we can trade the denominators. We can switch them out. So the 3/4 becomes 3 wholes. So we literally just trade them out. So the 1 falls under the 3 and the 4 falls under the 20. And the reason why this can be helpful is we can simplify the 24ths if that works, which it does in this case. So 24ths simplifies 20 divided by 4 is 5, and this is already 3 wholes. 3 times 5, or 5 wholes, is 15 wholes. So a couple strategies. I hope that helps your work for this Monday, and look for another lesson for Tuesday.